The H parameter model. In this lecture, I'm going to derive the H parameter model from the knowledge of the small signal model what I have derived for the common emitter configuration in my last lecture. So let's start with the H parameter model. Before diving into the insight of the H parameter model, we first need to know what it is. The H parameter model is a concept of circuit theory and which is generally being used to analyze a two-port network system. And what is a two-port network system? A two-port network system is basically consists of uh, a simple, either simple or complex electronic circuit. Say for example, shown in this diagram, this is a two-port network. One port is used for input and another port is used for output, which is the basic uh, uh, system of any kind of device, the most simplest system of any kind of device. So for such a system, that two-port network the system of the two-port network may contains a complex circuitry, a complex electronic circuitry. But if you can summarize or characterize the two-port network using its input voltage and input current and output voltage and output current, then all time uh, you do not need to know what is going on within the two-port network internally, because as you have characterized the two-port network by its input and output voltage and input and output current, so you can easily apply the two-port network as a box or as a separate circuit or as a separate circuit model, and you can apply that circuit model into a different circuit where the input voltage, output current, and output voltage, output current of this particular circuit module is known to you, and according to that you can figure out what is its input impedance, what is its output impedance, what is its voltage gain or current gain, whatever it is. So those things I'm going to explore first over here. The analyzing tool for the two-port networks is not only the H parameter model. So there are different tools exist for analyzing these two-port network. The first one is like this, the Z parameter model. So what is the Z parameter model? Because although I'm going to discuss the H parameter model, but the Z parameter and Y parameter model or these tools, the Z parameter analyzing tool and the Y parameter analyzing tool will help you to understand what is the H parameter analyzing tool. So when both the input voltage and the output voltage of a two-port network is a function becomes a function of its input current and output current. So you can say later on in this slide we will see that all the input voltage and the output voltage of the two-port network can be written as a weighted sum of its input current and output current. Then that model of the two-port network is called the Z parameter model. Similarly, if the input current and output current of a two-port network can be represented as a weighted sum of its input voltage and output voltage, then that particular model can be called is called as a Y parameter model, because we'll see in my next slide that this current, when it is going to be related with this voltage, the ratio takes the form of the admittance. Similarly, in the previous case, when the voltage is going to be related with the current itself, the ratio takes the form of an impedance. So that is why it is called Z parameter. This one is Y parameter. But these two relations are much more simpler. For the case of Y parameter, when we see that the input current or input voltage or the input voltage and input output voltage are not the uh, direct function of the input current and output current, rather it's a mix up of in both the input factor and the output factors. That means the input voltage is a function of the input current as well as the output voltage. Similarly, the output current is a function of the input voltage as well as the output input voltage and output current itself. So such kind of hybrid mix up takes place in the case of two-port network. So then we cannot use the either of these two parameters, Z parameter or Y parameter. Yeah, we can use, means there is a always possibility to we can convert from the Z parameter to Y parameter, Y parameter to Z parameter. Similarly, that complex circuit, when there exists some hybrid mixed up, we can also use this Z parameter by Y parameter, but it will be easier if we use a different kind of analyzing tool, and that is called the hybrid parameter, because the circuit itself is in hybrid mode. Although later on you can convert this H parameter model into Y parameter and corresponding Z parameter, but that conversion will bring you the an expression of the Z parameter with a much more complex term. And similarly for the Y parameter, when you will convert the H parameter into Y parameter, you will see that the final expression will come in a complex manner. Rather, when if you represent this H parameter model, the entire network will be characterized based on this simple equations. So that is why we prefer H parameter when the network itself is in a hybrid combinations of its input voltage and output voltage, input current and output current. Let's see the Z parameter model. Look at here. The input voltage is written in terms of the weighted sum of its input current and output current, whereas the output voltage is also written as the weighted sum of its input current and output current. And from these equations, the unknown factors are Z11, Z12, Z21 and Z22. So what are these coefficients we need to understand first? If you considered I2 is equals to 0, and you can do it very easily, because if you take this load off from the circuit, so that will make this I2 is equals to 0, but V2 is not. So if I2 is equals to 0, so from the first equation you will have the Z11 is equals to V1 by I1. So therefore Z11 is basically a ratio of the input voltage to the input current. That means Z11 represents the input impedance of the particular device. It appears over here. So if input current flows through that element which is appearing across it, and the V1 is appearing across these two terminal, and the input impedance generally appears across these two terminal. Already I have explained in my last lecture. So then V1 by I1 represents its input impedance, and that is why it is in the form of the impedance. So that is why it is called Z parameter, because we generally represents the impedance by using the symbol Z, and 1 represents it is associated with the input terminal or the first terminal. So that is why input impedance. Next is a Z12. If you make I1 is equals to 0, then this Z12 represents the ratio of the V1 to I2. So input voltage to the output current for I1 equals to 0. So this is basically representing the uh, reverse coupling resistance. Reverse coupling resistance means I2 gets coupled with the input device in such a way that it is producing the input voltage. Although the Vs is 0 in that case, because you made this I1 is equals to 0, 0 means V1 Vs is equals to 0. So there is no input source at the input side, but still you are having this V1, that is due to this factor of the I2, which is a fraction of the I2 which is flowing through this input impedance or the internal impedance, not only the input impedance rather, because input impedance is associated with this factor. So the fraction of the I2 when it is flowing internal to the circuit and it is producing this Vi, then the element through which the equivalent element of the circuit through which I2 flows and it produces the V1 is Z12. So that is why it is called the reverse coupling impedance. So Z112 is called the reverse coupling impedance. Similarly, if you make I2 is equals to 0 in the second equation, you will have that V2 divided by I1 is equals to Z21. It is called the forward coupling impedance. So when you are making this I2 is equals to 0, that I1 flows in such a way that a part of this I1 goes in the output and it is producing the V2, similar to the first case when it is producing the V1 due to the I2. And that is basically the things, because if you can take this load off from the circuit, and then also you may have the output voltage V0 across the open load, because some of the input current flows through this. So therefore the ratio of the output voltage to input current is representing the forward coupling impedance. So that is called the Z21. And for I1 equals to 0, if you put for the second equation, so that will result the ratio of V2 divided by I2, V2 to I2, and that is equals to the Z22. And that is the property of the second port or the output port itself. So it is the ratio of the output voltage to the output current, and it represents the output impedance for I1 equals to 0. So it is Z1 is input impedance, Z12 is a reverse coupling impedance, Z21 forward coupling impedance, and Z22 is the output impedance. Next is the Y parameter. Look at here. In the case of Y parameter, you can represent the input current and the output current as a weighted sum of its input voltage and output voltage. And similar to the previous case, if you make these V2 equals to 0 and V1 equals to 0 in the first equation, you will obtain the Y11 and Y12, and that is going to represent is your input admittance, and the second one represents the reverse coupling admittance. Here if you make this V2 equals to 0, V1 equals to 0 in the second equation, so Y21 represents the forward coupling admittance, and second one, the last one, represents the output admittance, and all other things are similar to the previous one. Therefore, we are interested in Z parameter for a given network when the network is driven by the voltage and producing the output in terms of the voltage also, and the coupling between the input and output voltage is done using the current, the input current and the output current. So then we generally prefer to use the Z parameter. Similarly, the Y parameters are used when when the network is driven by the currents and the output is being produced also in terms of the current, and the coupling is done using the voltage. So in those cases we generally use the Y parameter. But what if the coupling is not in a straightforward manner? So say for example, if the input voltage is represented in terms of the weighted sum of input current but the output voltage, similarly output voltage can be represented in terms of the output current and input voltage, or the opposite one. So there is will be a hybrid mix of these input voltage and output input current, output voltage and output current. Then the straightforward method of the Z parameter and Y parameter is not be applied, or may not be, yeah, it can be applied, but it will be a cumbersome process to find out the input impedance, output impedance, or the internal parameters for a given network. The H parameter. As I told that when your network is itself a mix of its own four parameters, that means the input current, output current, input voltage and output voltage, then the straightforward methods of applying the Z parameters and Y parameters may not be suitable for that particular circuit, or for particular the system. Then the H parameter models appears much more suitable than the previous two parameters. So in the case of H parameter model, since your system is based on some hybrid mix of all of its own four parameters, it means the voltage and currents. So in the case of H parameter, we represent the input voltage in terms of the weighted sum of the input current and the output voltage. Similarly, and here first of all, if you check what it is, that at V2 equals to 0, the H11 represents it is the ratio of V1 to I1. So basically H11 and Z1 are same. It is going to represent the input impedance because it is the ratio of some voltage to current, and that voltage and current is associated with the input terminal itself. So that is related with the input terminal. That is why 1 or the first terminal is the H11, and since it is the ratio of voltage to current, so that can be represented as a as an impedance. Similarly, if you make I1 is equals to 0 in this equation, you will have H12 is nothing but a ratio of V1 to V2. So it is going to be a ratio of the input voltage to output voltage. So basically, the unit of this H11 is in ohms because it is a ratio of voltage to current. But this H12 is unitless. This H12 is unitless because V1 and V2 both are in voltage. So it's basically, as we have seen in the case of Z12 or Y12, these 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 factors H12 also represents the reverse coupling coefficient, and it is unitless. Reverse coupling coefficient is the ratio of input voltage to output voltage. So basically you can consider it as the feedback from the output what it is coming. And for all other cases, for the Z parameter, Y parameters is 1 2 always represents the feedback which is coming either in terms of the current or in terms of the voltage. Next one is the I2. The output current is represented as the weighted sum of the input current and the output voltage, similar to the previous one. But since right now it is the output current, the coefficients are represented as H21 and H22. And what are they? Similar to that, if you make this V2 is equals to 0 for the second equation, H21 represents the ratio of the output current to the input current. That means this H21 is also unitless, similar to the H12, but in this case it represents the ratio of the two currents. So basically it is the factor by which the output current gets produced when there is an input current. H22 is equals to, or the ratio of I2 to V2 when I1 is equals to 0. So this is basically uh, an admittance, because it is the ratio of current and the voltage, and that current and that voltage is associated with the second terminal or the output terminal. So H22 is called the output admittance, similar to this Y22. So basically here you can see, you can check your understanding of this hybrid parameter model, because in the Z parameters all terms are represented in terms of the impedance, in Y parameters all terms are represented in terms of the admittance, but here this H11 is in terms of this impedance, whereas this H22 is appearing in terms of this admittance, and other two terms are coming as unitless. And the first one is the ratio of voltages, and the second one is ratio of the currents. Now let's understand how we can apply this H parameter in our model for the BJT. And first of all, we have to check, or we have to understand how this H parameter is best suited for our model. Is why we are not going to for H parameter, Z parameter or the Y parameter. Why we are going for H parameter? If you apply the KVL within the base emitter loop, you'll this equation will be resulted. So VB, this is the input voltage, IB is the input current, and that is equals to this one. This IB R pi plus C naught VC, and we have seen this equation from our uh, earlier derivation in the small signal model. Again, if you apply KCL at the collector emitter loop, a collector emitter node at this point, that KCL will result this equation, that IC is equals to GM, some part of this IV is GMVB and some is going to this R naught. So the output voltage divided by R naught. So now you can compare, and before going to compare these two equations, just replace this GM by beta by R pi, what I have done in my previous slide or previous lecture, and VB divided by R pi. If you replace from this equation VB over here, so that will result like this. So this output current is represented in terms of the input current and the output voltage. Now let's compare these two equations with our findings in case of bipolar junction transistor. On the left hand side, I place these H parameters, and on the right hand side I place the small signal parameter what I have obtained in my last lectures, and in the middle I have shown the relation between them. So let's try to understand why I have written this H11 as R pi and H21 and as beta, and all other things as I have shown over here. First, consider the V2 is equals to 0. And before going to discuss these things, look at these two equations. The first equation in H parameter model, this is a general equation of the H parameter which I am borrowing. I'm going to borrow from the circuit theory. and this V11 is equals to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. This VB for our small signal model, which is the input voltage, which is equals to R pi times this IB plus C naught times this VCE. So basically, the input voltage or for the H parameters is represented as the weighted sum of the current, input current and output voltage, and similarly the input voltage for the small signal model is also represented as the weighted sum of the input current and the output voltage. Similarly, the output current for the H parameter model is represented as the weighted sum of its input current and output voltage, and the output current, which is IC for a common emitter, that can also be represented in terms of the weighted sum of the input of its input current and output voltage. So basically, looking at these two sets of equations, we can see that their form are similar. Now let's identify what is H11 and how this H11 is related with these factors, and H21, H12, H21, H22 are related with these factors. I have shown the result over here. So now I'm going to discuss why or how we can write these results over as I have shown over here. So first, making this V2 equals to 0, in both of these cases we can find that uh, H11 is basically is equals to ratio of V1 to I1. Similarly, V2 is the output voltage. Similarly, Vc is the output voltage for our small signal model. If you make this one 0, so Vb divided by Ib defines this ratio defines this R pi. So in terms of that, H11 is equals to R pi. Directly we can say from here. Similarly, V2 is equals to 0 from the second equation results that H21, which is the ratio of I2 to I1. From the second equation of the small signal model, we obtained the beta is equals to IC divided by IB. And look at here, as I told, so this is the forward coupling coefficient. That means that it is a ratio of I2 to I1. So I2 gets produced due to the presence of I1, and the it is basically represents the amplification factor or de-amplification factor, whatever it is. Looking from this H parameter model, there is a coefficient which gets multiplied with this I1 and producing the I2. But when we check in our small signal model, we can easily understand what it is. H21 in our case, that is the forward current gain beta in common emitter configuration, because the H2 is IC, the output current, and I1 is IB, the input current, and their ratio is nothing but the forward current gain. Next, I1 is equals to 0 and IB is equals to 0. For I1 is equals to 0, you can see from here that defines this H12, which is equals to the V1 divided by V2. Similarly, IB equals to 0 from the first equation, that defines the C naught, which is equals to VB is equals to VB divided by VC. So C naught is equals to H12. And we know what is the C naught in our small signal model. C naught appears in our small signal model due to the presence of the early effect, and that was related with the ratio of VB to VC. As I told, the VB is equals to VC times the C naught, and that was only due to from due to this early effect. So here also the same thing is indicating by this C naught, and H12 is nothing but that thing. So if there is a feedback of the output voltage and the effect is appearing at the input, so the ratio will be defined by this H12 as it is being defined over here. So in the second case, H22, if you make this I2 is equals to 0, I1 is equals to 0, and you take the ratio of I2 to V2 from the second equation, so that defines this H22. Similarly, if you make IB equals to 0 over here, and if you take the ratio of IC to VC, so that defines this factor, and by comparing these two we can easily write what is H22 is equals to this factor. Now if you neglect the early effect for the input case, that means C naught is equals to 0 if you going to consider, because we have seen earlier the early effect associated with the input terminal for common emitter configuration is very small, because If VC gets increased, IB gets decreased, but the order uh, of this magnitude of this IB by which it is being decreased, that is very small. So therefore, if you consider this C naught is equals to 0, whereas you are not considering this R naught is equals to infinity, because at the output side the effect of this early effect is much more prominent than the input side. So if you are going to consider the C naught is equals to 0, the H22 is equals to simply the inverse of this output impedance, which is equals to R naught. And as in my last slide we have seen that H22 is nothing but the admittance, and from here also you can see the H22 is equals to the ratio of some output current to output voltage. So that is obviously will be related as the inverse relation with the impedances. Let's check out these two circuit I have placed side by side for comparison purpose. Here, the first circuit represents the small signal model, and the second circuit represents the H parameter model what I have derived from the small signal model. R pi, which is equals to H11, that is why I have replaced this R pi as H11. C naught I have replaced as H12. GM I have replaced by H21 IB, because look at here, all these terms are replaced only by the coefficient itself, but here both of these terms require to change, because in small signal model is or this current GM, the transconductance basically represents the ratio of the output current to the input voltage IC divided by VB, whereas in the H parameter model, the H21 represents the ratio of the output current to the input current. So when you are going to change this GMVB or GM itself in terms of the H parameter model, you also need to change this VB, because VB is associated with this GM, whereas IB or the input current will be associated with this H21. So that is why you need to change this both of them. Second one is the output impedance. So output impedance for the small signal model was R naught, and whereas this output admittance for our H parameter model is 1 by H22. And as you have seen in my last slide that H22 is not exactly equals to inverse of this R naught because of the presence of the C naught factor. If you consider the C naught is equals to 0, which is associated with the early effect, then this output admittance will be exactly equals to the output impedance R naught. So these are the two circuits. So I am just changing from the small signal model from the H parameter model. Now the question is why I am changing this? Why I am shifting from the small signal model to H parameter model? Because already we have everything to analyze the AC parameters as I have shown in my last lecture. The reasons I have listed over here. The small signal model is good, is very good, but it is associated only the common emitter configuration. If you change the common emitter from configuration from the common emitter to common collector, say for example, for common collector, this collector terminal will appear over here, and the emitter terminal will be considered as the output terminal. Therefore, emitter terminal will go over here because the input terminal remains same for both the common emitter and the common collector. Now, once this once this emitter terminal becomes the output terminal, that means this emitter goes over here and collector comes at this position, the direction of the current source you need to change, because the direction is always from the collector to emitter. So therefore, if this terminal becomes your collector and this emitter, so direction will be opposite to the common emitter configuration. Similarly, all other parameters you have to reinvestigate for each and every time when you are changing the configurations. So all other parameters you have to reinvestigate where and how much it is appearing. So this is a cumbersome process. On the other hand, H parameter is not associated with the internal circuit components, as I told in the case of in the case of analyzing two-port network, because H parameter is an analysis tool for the two-port network system, and it is defined based on only its input voltage and current and output voltage and current. So therefore, whenever you know the input voltage and current, the relation between input and output voltages and currents, you are done. So you do not need to change when the configuration gets changed, because the orientation will remain same. The only parameters which will vary when you change the configuration, so they are these h11, h12, h21, h22. The values will be changed, but the orientation of the circuit elements remains same. Only the values gets changed. So this is the major advantage of the H parameter. So that is why we generally use the H parameter for the bipolar junction transistor rather than the small signal model. But however, there are lots of cases, because the common emitter is much more general one. So this model can also be used equivalently. But when you are going to use from the small signal to common emitter to common collector and common base, so H parameter model is much suitable than using the small signal model. So the last thing I have to consider for the H parameter is that we have seen earlier that the H parameter model is much more versatile and robust in comparison with the small signal model, because uh, the orientation of the circuit element remains same for the H parameters. Only the thing that are varying are these h11, h12, h21, h22, these values of these h parameters. So these things are varying. So when you are changing from common emitter to common base, common and common collector, so you must redefine or you must rename these parameters, which will be associated to their corresponding configurations. So look at this diagram. So this diagram will represent it can make you understand what I just want to convey to you. Say for example, the input terminal is Z, output terminal is Y, and the common terminal is X. This X, Y, and Z, obviously you can understand, can either be emitter, base, and collector, whatever. I have replaced in general term. So this H11, as it represents the input impedance, so that will be replaced by HI. This H12, that represents the reverse coupling coefficient in terms of the voltage, so that is why I have replaced that is by HR. And next XY, X, because that term is associated with this common term. In this case, since it is a common to the X terminal, so HIX will appear. Similarly, the reverse coupling coefficient, that is why it is coming as HR, and it is associated with this X terminal, because it is a common X configurations I am considering. So HRX will be there, and corresponding VCE, right now you can consider C is means collector to emitter, so it will be represented as VYX. Okay, IZ represents the input current from the Z terminal, as it is shown as IB over here. H21, which represents the forward current gain in case of a common emitter, but when you are considering the common general configuration which is common to the X, so that will represent the HFX. H stands for forward and F stands for forward. So HFX represents the forward current gain in common X mode, and which is gets multiplied with this input current IZ when the input terminal is a Z terminal. Similarly, the output admittance is H22, since it is associated with the output. H naught represents the output admittance. One by H naught, H naught represents the output admittance, and it is associated with the common X terminal. So H naught X will be there, and H naught X is the output admittance, and 1 by H naught X is the output impedance for in this case. And the output voltage, as you can see from here, is VC. Obviously it will be VYX if you compare both of them. So now if you are going to write the H parameter for different configurations, say for common base configuration, if you consider X equals to B, the base terminal, then the Z becomes your emitter terminal. This input terminal will be the emitter, and Y terminal will be the collector terminal. Then HIX will be HIB, HRX will be RB, FX FB, OX OB. Just this common term will be changed. So because these parameters are associated with the common base, so that is why this gets changed. Similarly, for common emitter, they becomes IE, HIE, HRX, HFE, and HOE. For common collector, there will be HIC, HRC, HFC, HOC, and that's all. So once you have configured the small signal model for a given configuration into the H parameter model, you are done. So you can easily apply the small signal model into a different circuit, in a complex circuit. And in my next lecture, we'll see how we can apply the H parameter model in different configurations. So basically, I'll consider the voltage divider configuration because that one is much more versatile one.